This is a Sports Catastrophe production.
Hey there, Heather, ho there. It's Jeff Cutter, and welcome you to another Sports Catastrophe on this day. And on this day, May the 21st, in the year 2008, glory, glory, Man United. Glory, glory, Man United. Glory, glory, Man United. We got the Champions League. Oi, oi, oi. So Manchester United took on Chelsea in the first ever European Cup final between two British squads, two English squads, I should say. The second happened with Tottenham versus Liverpool, 2019, I think. But anyhow, ManU was a decent team in European football. ManU won the famous 1968 final against Benfica in extra time, and in 1999 they pulled off one of the biggest shocks when in injury time, or stoppage time, if you will, they scored 2 goals to beat Bayern Munich 2-1. Chelsea wasn't really much of a team in Europe at that time. Anyway, the 2008 Champions League went down like this. ManU automatically qualified for the Champions League based on their decent season in Premier League. They were drawn in Group F with Roma, Sporting from Portugal, and Dynamo Kiev. Kiev had nothing to it. ManU went 16. They had 16 of a possible 18 points. 4 wins and no, 5 wins and a tie. Against Roma, when they basically had nothing to play for, they tied them. Those were the only 2 points they dropped in Group F. So they and Roma qualified for the round of 16. Chelsea, in their match, in Group B, would deal with Schalke, Rosenborg of Norway, and Valencia of Spain. Chelsea did okay, but too many ties ruined them. So they had 3 wins and 3 ties. They ended up tying everybody. They beat and tied everybody. So they had a win and a tie against every one of the 3 teams they faced in the group. Schalke nearly squeaked past Rosenborg for a spot in the round 16. ManU would take on Lyon in the round of 16, and after a 1-1 tie in France, they pulled off a 1-0 win on home turf. In the quarters, they took on Roma, their rivals from the group, and they beat them 3-0, 2-0 in Roma and 1-0 on home turf. And Barcelona, they had a tough game with Barcelona in the semifinals, but they won on home turf 1-0. So that meant they had only given up 1 goal in the last 3 games. Meanwhile, Chelsea in the knockout stage against Olympiacos went to Greece, had an embarrassing 0-0 tie, but crushed Olympiacos at Stamford Bridge. Against Fenerbahce, the Turkish squad, in the quarterfinals, they actually lost 2-1. But thanks to a 2-0 win on home turf, they won the 2-leg affair 3-2. In the semis against Liverpool, which would have guaranteed a English final, I think. Well, if ManU couldn't take down Barcelona. But anyway, Liverpool would take on Chelsea in the All-English semi-final. 1-1 tie at Anfield, and then it was 3-2 after extra time. What happened was that it was 1-1 also at Stamford Bridge, but the rules were that with it 1-1 each scoreline, they had to play extra time, and Chelsea survived thanks to a couple goals by Didier Drogba. So that set up Chelsea in their first Champions League final, and ManU their first since '99. So Moscow got to host the championship. I know that it's controversial because Russia and all that stuff, but this is 2008. It's not 2022. Anyway, so Lubos Michel from Slovakia was the main referee. So team selection was huge and all that. Sir Alex Ferguson said that Paul Scholes would be in the starting lineup kind of as a way of making up for him because Scholes missed the 99 final because he was suspended. So he was there. Owen Hargreaves started in place of Park Joo-sun. All that. So anyway, the tactics. The tactics were there. So the starting lineups in net was Edwin van der Sar. The back four was Patrice Evra, Naaman Vidic, Rio Ferdinand, and Wes Brown. Four midfielders, Owen Hargreaves, who was from Calgary, but he decided to play for England, traitor. Paul Scholes, Michael Carrick, and Cristiano Ronaldo. With Carlos Tevez, yes, that Carlos Tevez, and Wayne Rooney up front. Chelsea went with a 4-5-1 play. Their goalie was Peter Cech, the legendary one I did on this birthday boy about last year. Their four defenders, Michael Essien, Ricardo Carvalho, John Terry, and Ashley Cole. Their middle were Claude Makélélé, Michael Ballack, Frank Lampard, Joe Cole, and Florent Malouda, with Didier Drogba being the main forward. So the first half started off well. In the 26th minute, Cristiano Ronaldo struck a thunderbolt to make it 1-0 ManU. And the ManU fan in me said, yeah, boy. Actually, I didn't watch this final live. I actually was at work. Was I at work or was I in college? No, it was May 2008, so I was at work. And then Chelsea tied it up in a goal by Frank Lampard, who was a Chelsea legend. So 1-1. So I remember coming home and finding out it was on penalties. So I'm thinking, ooh, this is interesting. Well, ManU made 3 changes. In the 87th minute, Ryan Giggs came in for Paul Scholes. In extra time, in the 101st minute, Nani came in for Wayne Rooney. Shocking. And in the last few seconds before the penalty shootout, Anderson came in for Wes Brown. So that was huge. The 4 main guys that ManU didn't use were goalie Tomas Kucerek, defender John O'Shea, and a defender Mikael Silvestre, and forward Darren Fletcher. Fletcher was decent. John O'Shea, he should have came in for Wes Brown, if anything. Chelsea made their 3 changes in the 92nd minute, second minute of extra time. Solomon Kalou came in for Florent Malouda. In the 99th minute, Nicholas Anelka came in for Joe Cole, and before the penalty shootout, Julian Belletti came in for Makélélé. Chelsea did not use Carlo Cusini, their backup goalie. Defender Alex, that's his name, Alex. Midfielder Michael John Obi, and forward Andrei Shevchenko. Like, Shevchenko's an icon. Why didn't you use him instead of? Should have put him instead of Malouda. But anyway, yeah, it was bad football. 8 players had a yellow card. But worse for Chelsea was that Didier Drogba got himself sent off in the 116th minute, which meant he could not take part in the penalty shootouts. And Chelsea was down to 10 men, but ManU did not capitalize. So it was time for the penalty shootout. Carlos Tevez went first for ManU. Boom. Scored. Michael Ballack for Chelsea. Scored. Michael Carrick for ManU. Scored. Julio Belletti. Scored. And then Cristiano Ronaldo came in trying to do the stop-start penalty. Didn't work. Peter Cech was not fooled. Frank Lampard scored for Chelsea on the 3rd penalty. Then Owen Hargreaves scored for ManU. Ashley Cole scored for Chelsea. Nani scored, making it 5-4. If John Terry could score on the 5th penalty, Chelsea are European champions. But for some inexplicable reason, John Terry slipped on the pitch and his shot went way wide, and he had Van der Sar beat. That was one of the worst penalty misses in a finals history, and that ruined things. Not the least in a few years when John Terry got stripped of his England captaincy because he slept with a teammate's wife and got her pregnant. In the meantime, Anderson, the Brazilian, scored on penalties, and it looked like he was going to be the hero. But Kalou made his penalty. So sudden death penalties. You score your penalty, then the other team must score theirs, or game over. Or if you miss and the other team scores, it's game over. Ryan Giggs, the legend Ryan Giggs, who's been with ManU since 1991. who tied the record set by Bobby Charlton for most appearances in a ManU sweater. Scored. And then it was up to Anelka for Chelsea, and he badly missed. Van der Sar made the save, and guess what? Manchester United are your 2008 European champions. It was a big win and all that. It was huge and all that. It was pretty good and all that. ManU would actually go on to take part in the 2009 final, but lost to Barcelona when Leo Messi came onto the stage. ManU would try a couple of times to get the Champions League after 2008, but failed miserably afterwards. Chelsea would lose. No, Chelsea would win the 2021 Champions League final, and it was amazing and all that. It was shocking, but you know what? It was a great game and all that, and it was good. So ManU won their third European Cup. Chelsea would have to keep coming back and back and back, and failed miserably. But that's the way it is. Anyway, I'm Jeff Diamond. I do.